What's going on, guys? This one's been underway for a couple of days. As the more keenly observant of you will remember, 5 days ago my colleague Nolan asked a very good question, namely, what is the best investment you've made in personal development and how did that affect your business? Now, I've given this some thought and it's a tough one. I couldn't answer it immediately because I do a lot of personal development. I've had a lot of shit that I needed to clean out, and I probably will keep doing so for a lot of time to come. So I've done several things when it comes to personal development. I've done hours and hours of personal development every day for years to get where I am today. And for those of you who are familiar with Jim Rohn, he has this nice quote that he attributes to his mentor, Earl Schoaf, which goes, "You have to work harder on yourself than on your business." And I can attest to that because let me tell you, when you've got skeletons in your closet, at least to the extent that I've had, you're not going to be able to do a whole lot. There's been some shit that's keeping me from living my dreams for years and years, and so that's why I've been doing a lot of personal development. And I think if there is one answer to that question, what's been my biggest investment in personal development, it's this. Hang on. So these are the notes and the following notes from one exercise in one book that I read this spring. Some of you might be familiar with it. It's called Mirror Work. It's by Louise Hay. And while she would, I mean, you can say what you want about her writing skills or lack thereof, but she sure as hell gets the job done when it comes to personal development. Or that is, if you're willing to put in the job, if you're willing to put in those resources that it takes. Investment wise, like money wise, this was actually a book that I was given by a former client of mine, so it didn't cost me anything. But all of these, let me just count these. There is, because I numbered them, these are 487 bullet points that each represent a situation in my past, or a memory or a circumstance for which I feel ashamed and that I need to forgive someone, not the least of all myself. So there's a lot of shame, a lot of guilt that I've been carrying around. 485 of these bullet points. This was supposed to take me like 30 to 60 minutes. I stopped counting after like 12 hours, 14 hours. I've spent days and days compiling this list. And what I've done then is I've gone over some of them. Let me just see if I can find... Yeah, so starting from point 1, I've gone over them. And as the book Mirror Work is about getting into a dialogue with yourself, I've been sitting in front of the mirror. And I've been talking to myself, and I've been writing these dialogues down here for each one of these bullet points. So far, actually, I've only done 30 of them so far. So this is still a work in progress, and it's probably going to be a work in progress for years and years. But I do this because it works, and some of these points. It's taken me more than an hour to get through one of these points, but what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sitting in front of the mirror and talking to myself about why this is painful for me, but what I need to realize, and that no matter what I feel about this and no matter what I think about this memory or this situation, I forgive myself completely and utterly, and I write all this down. The reason I write all of this down, you're actually not supposed to do that, I think, but I do this because it gives you a more tactile experience of the whole forgiveness process. You integrate it more within yourself, and I think that adds to the effect, and I think that adds to the experience. So, I mean, this is, I would say that I recommend this book and this exercise, but I really don't, unless you're a fan of personal development on an advanced level. But anyway, that is the biggest investment by far I have made in personal development, because it's taken hours and days and weeks and months, even so far. This is, it's not something I sit down and do every day, because it takes a lot of time, and I'm doing a lot of personal development work stuff as it is. So this is by far the biggest investment I've made in terms of time and of mental resources. I mean, because some of these are hard to revisit. I've found myself shedding a couple of tears while doing some of these, because we're all the way back to like when I was 5, 6, 7 years old. I mean, we're going that deep. So it's a huge investment, time-wise and emotional resource-wise, but it's impacted my business and this is where it gets kind of tricky, because like a lot of the personal development work I have done, I cannot tell you how this has contributed directly to my bottom line results, but I will tell you that in the months that have gone by since I started doing this god-awful demanding work, I have started to earn more money than I ever have, and I have gotten further career-wise than I ever have. So is that like an obvious chicken and egg? Maybe not. Sure, there are other factors to that as well. I've done other things, but the way it affects me on a personal level is I've become much more happy. I've become much more patient, not only with myself, but also with everyone around me. I've become much more understanding. I've become much more calm. And when you're a one-man band like me, I'm just a regular old self-employed, right? Then your own mind, your own psyche, and your own emotional life is one of your most important assets, and you have to keep that, I wouldn't say in check or under control, but you have to keep your path clean. And the more you optimize yourself, the more you better yourself, the better you will be able to conduct your business. And the better you are able to conduct your business, the more clients you're going to take on, the more high-end clients you're going to be able to take on, and the more money you're going to be able to learn. It's that simple. So with that, Nolan, thank you very much for your question. And just to take it up again, but with a slight twist so we don't ruin Nolan's original post, I'd like to ask you guys, who is one person that you need to forgive? Not counting yourself, because while it is true that we need to forgive ourselves before we forgive others, there's always somebody that we either haven't been able to forgive yet, or that we just haven't gotten around to forgive yet. So who is that person? Let's know down in the comment field, and take it from there, right? Cheers.